just want you to know God never pre-planned your wholeness. If you're a hoe, it's because you choose to be a hoe. Nobody's born a hoe. You are going through your hoe phase because you want to. That's it. And it's your choice and your plan or your lack of planning. But don't you dare put it on God. God has planned much better than that for you. But you are messing up the plans of God, living for the big O. Oh no, money.
I mean, what can I tell you? She's absolutely right. You are going through your whole phase because you have chosen to go through your whole phase. I went through mine. You're going through yours. You went through yours. Well, you haven't gotten there yet. But it's all because you planned it. God has something better for you. Because in Jeremiah, he said that I know the plan that I have for you. I have a plan that to not harm you. I have a plan to prosper you. I have a plan for all those things. He said it. Psalms said, I got a plan, a great plan for you. And that's what they hold on to, unless you're a Calvinist. But then there is a little bit of a problem. You see, your God claims that he knew the plan for you before you were born. That your God had already knew all the hairs on your head and already knows every decision that you're going to make. That he allowed you to be born knowing that you were going to choose to go through your whole phase. And so if God already knew the plan and knew what you were going to do, and God knows everything, and everything is for the good of this God, then your whole phase was part of God's plan. It was his plan for you. It was his will for you. And many Christians at this point will say that exactly because God knew he had to take you through that whole phase in order to redeem you so that you can have a testimony to tell the other people. Until you look at situations like when a person is molested, when a person is beaten, when a person is murdered. We have the young airman in Okosa, I believe is the name of the town. He was shot dead, assassinated, executed by police officers because he didn't know who was beating on his door because of a false report for that sheriff to come to his house. He feared for his life. He came to the door with the gun in his hand. The police officer never, ever said, lower your weapon. He just shot. Execution. God's plan was for that young man to be gunned down and murdered in his own home. That was his plan. God's plan was for you to be molested. God's plan was for you to be tortured, for you to have mental abuse. And there are those Christians who would say that that is God's plan. That's God's plan for you, so that you can have a testimony. What testimony does this young man have? What is the testimony of his life for those who are surviving this young man? That's a piss poor planning God. But let's get into the reality of it. The reality of it is that there is no plan. No, God has no plan for your life. There is no big Pinocchio. You're not Pinocchio, and there's no big Geppetto up in the sky who has already pre-planned your life, who has already decided what your life is going to be. If that's the case, then God planned for all those people to be genocide, for the Amalekites to be genocide, for the Amorites to be genocide, for the people of Jericho to be genocided. He planned for that. No, if Christians actually believe in free will, then you would have to believe that everybody has a right and everybody has the choice to make. And Christians will say that the only choice that you have to make is whether you're going to follow this God or you're going to go to eternal damnation. And that is not a choice. That is an ultimatum. There is no choice in that at all. But the reality is that you do have a choice over every aspect of your life. You have a choice whether to believe in this God or not, to believe in these fairy tales of talking snakes and donkeys and rocks splitting open and pouring out water. You have a choice to believe in all these things. And whether or not you choose to believe in it or not, there is no hellscape that is waiting for you. Only the hell that you create for yourself. and the hell that other people may create over you, simply because they have used their greater willpower to determine what's going to happen in your life. This is an unfortunate thing about people having free will. There are those who would choose to rape, murder, and kill and destroy, and they come in all looks, they come in all sizes, they come in all race, they come in all genders, and they come in all religions. Because we do know that there are many, many molestations that happen within every religion. So therefore, it is each individual's choice as to what they are doing with their lives and how they affect the lives of other people. So if you want to go through your whole phase, go through your whole phase. Enjoy your whole phase. Don't take the shame of your whole phase simply because whatever culture you're in has decided that that is a shameful thing. Shame is something that you internalize yourself and make it a part of yourself and then condemn yourself continuously over. Instead of recognizing that all you have to do, that if you did not appreciate who you were at that time frame, is to forgive yourself and then go on and live your life in the way that is justifiable to you. No one else. No make-believe deities in the sky. No people who wrote some book 2,000 years ago, 3,000 years ago, who was writing on tablets or papyrus and decided that this is how you should live your life 3,000 years later, which does not fit the culture and the morality to which we live in today. Today, most moral people would not genocide. Today, most moral people would not sell off their daughters to be married to men. Today, people wouldn't sell off their daughters who were essayed by another man, and as long as he paid the bride price. Today, we would choose not to genocide. Today, we should choose not to murder, not to steal, not to kill. If you don't want it done to you, then don't do it to anyone else. We have a higher moral stand today than people had back then. Back then, they slaughtered animals, seeking for forgiveness and atonement, and also to worship their deity. Today, we see those things as being evil. So why would we duplicate them? We shouldn't, and we don't in most countries. Therefore, we have a higher moral standard. And you should stand on your higher moral standard that you have for yourself. Doesn't matter what I think. If you want to go and have sex with a bunch of people, that's up to you. As long as everybody's in agreement, whose right is it to tell you that there's something wrong with that? If a person does think that that's something wrong and that person desires to be with you, then maybe that's not a person you need to be with. You need to be with someone who realizes that you made choices and those were your choices. If you're fine with those choices, keep living your life. Keep doing what you're doing, as long as you're not hurting anyone else. So always remember, you have to free yourself to be yourself, because your greatness is non-negotiable. Good journey, good vibrations.